wanted to read something, and I want to see if anybody knows what it is. Okay? Like an immense army setting out upon receiving its orders, the spirits of the Lord, who are the powers of heaven, have found out over the entire face of the earth. Like falling stars, they have come to illuminate the way and open the eyes of the blind. Verily, I tell you that the time has come in which all things must be reestablished according to their true meaning, in order to dissipate the darkness, to confound the proud, and to glorify the righteous. The great voices of heaven resound like trumpets, and the choirs of angels have assembled together. Men and women, we invite you to the divine concert. May your hands turn up the lyre. May your voices be as one, and like a sacred hymn expand and vibrate from one end of the universe to the other. Men and women, brothers and sisters, whom we love, we are here besides you. Love one another also, and say from the bottom of your hearts, in obedience to the will of your Father who is in heaven, Lord, Lord, and you shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Does anybody know what that is? Okay. This is in the Gospel, and it's the preface, and it is by somebody called, a group called the Spirit of Truth. And what it says underneath is, note, the above instruction communicated through mediumistic means summarizes both the true character of Spiritism and the objective of this work. Thus, it has been placed here as the preface. So this is the Spirit of Truth that was talking to us and not telling us just about Spiritism, but about the Gospel. And the reason why I'm starting with this message is because you're going to see the Spirit of Truth in this chapter. This chapter is called The Workers of the Last Hour. And for those of us that came from other religions, when we had first heard the passage of Matthew, and we heard about, we thought, oh, you know what this means? This means that everybody's supposed to mind their own business. Because if Gilberto gets paid 1 denarius, and Aide gets paid 2, and Rita gets paid 3, that's nobody's business. It's just, you should worry about your own business. That was pre-spiritist. That's what some of us grew up thinking, that we would hear that Sunday in church or Mass or whatever, and that's what we thought the message thing. Then we decided that we were going to study Kardec, and we were going to study the Gospel, and we were going to go to chapter 20, and we were going to see what does the Spiritist doctrine tell us, okay? This chapter is very interesting because even though it's only 6 pages, we only have Matthew at chapter 20 speaking to us, verse 1 through 6, about the workers of the last hour. But the chapter is divided into 3 parts. It's only the spirits are talking. There's no explanation by anybody else. It's so pure. They're the ones that are telling us. The last shall be the first, the mission of the Spiritist, and the workers of the Lord. Okay, so what is the famous story that Matthew tells us at chapter 20? Coincidentally, this is chapter 20, and in the Gospel, it's chapter 20. Matthew's telling us, do you know when you go to Home Depot and you see all the gentlemen that are there waiting to go to work? Have you ever seen that? I don't know where your Home Depot is, but you see all these gentlemen, and I'm not going to say a certain nationality, but they're there waiting to be hired. Have you ever seen them? Okay, there's one at my Home Depot. There are a lot of them, and I always want to hire them. What it is that in this chapter, Matthew compares, he says the kingdom of God was like the head of a family who goes out looking for workers. So it's the same thing. Let's say I'm going to paint my house, I need to do some construction, I'm going to go get some workers, and I'm going to go to Home Depot, and I'm going to hire them, okay? But what happened was that he was looking for workers to work in his vineyard. So he woke up very early and he went out and got them. And he made an agreement with them. He said, come work the vine and I'll pay you a certain amount. No problem. We go to Home Depot, we get our guys, we agree we're going to pay them. We take them to our house and they work. Then he came out again, later, at the 3rd hour, at the 6th hour, at the 9th hour, at the 11th hour. There were still people. When he came at the 11th hour, there were still workers there. Let's say it's 7 o'clock at night. I go to Home Depot and there's still guys there waiting to get work. So he said to them, why are you here? Why aren't you working? And they said, because we never got hired. You know, nobody ever hired us. So he said, well, come on, come and work, and I'll pay you for your time. That was exactly it. Then what happened? At the end of the day, he got his foreman to pay. And he said, give them all the pay for the work that they done, but start from the last ones first. Okay, so in other words, that gentleman that I hired at Home Depot at 7 p.m., I'm going to bring him to pay him his salary first. And he got 1 denarius. And they kept going like that until the ones that had been there all day long, in their heads were probably thinking, well, if those guys just got here and they got 1 denarius, we're going to get a lot more. But no, everybody got the same pay. So the ones that came last were, you know, upset with the family, the head of the household. He was like, why? We were here the whole day and we worked our time and whatever. He said, I didn't contract with you about them or whatever. It's between you and I. I made a deal with you and I paid you. Like me and my Home Depot people that I hired. I hired some at 7 in the morning. I hired some at 7 at night. My agreement with them, my arrangement with them was that. So that was it. Right? We're good? So the ones that had come, you know, all day long didn't think that it was fair. Why should they be getting the same amount of pay when they worked all day long? So let's see what the spirits tell us. Okay? First of all, I wanted to go over who are these spirits that are bringing us these messages, because they're really 5. We have Matthew, who was one of the apostles of Jesus, and one of the evangelists. Constantine the Great, and then there's the, I'm trying to read backwards here.
Flavius.
I'm sorry.
Flavius Valerius.
Thank you. And you see what year that was, 272 to 337, and he was also known as Constantine or Saint Constantine. He was a Roman emperor from 306 to 337. And he was well known for being the first Roman emperor to convert to Christianity. He will sign off as a protecting spirit in Bordeaux, 1863. Okay? Then we have Henry Heinrich, a German poet known for satirical attacks on German nationalism. And that he will sign off in Paris, 1863. We have Erastus, who's the medium's guardian angel. He'll sign off in Paris, 1863. And then we have the Spirit of Truth. Remember when we started and I read the preface? This is the group that signs off as the Spirit of Truth. The Spirit of Truth are collective, and a collective means a group of enlightened spirits who represent the purest aspect of Christian thought and ideal. Messages proposed by the spirits in truth are divine in logical sense because they are in oneness with Jesus. And they'll sign off on Paris 1864. So this chapter, these spirits are the ones that are bringing it to us. Okay? So what do they say about these workers of the last hour? What do these spirits and what does everybody tell us? Well, they tell us the workers of the last hour have the right to their wage, right? Why not? They worked, right? They have the right just like anybody else. If they had refused to work, if they were lazy, if they had waited until the 11th hour and said, okay, they went around all over the place, and then at the last hour they said, here, we'll help, because they knew. But no, they were there. They were waiting, okay? Now, Gilberto taught me a trick. No. Which one was it?
Big one.
Okay. Thank you. What if they had used the hours of the day to commit blameworthy acts? to commit blasphemy against God, to cause problems among families, in ruining those who trusted them. Did I go to the right place or not? Okay, and they had used the time for abusing the innocent, indulging in ignominies, which means in doing disgraceful or dishonorable conduct of humanity. What would have become of them? What would have become? The master would say to them, I don't have any work for you now. Right? That's just logical. That's what the spirits are telling us. So, the spirits continue by telling us, good spirits, you are the workers of the last hour. You all came when you were called. Who are the workers of the last hour, and why are we being called and whatever? We're going to hold you in suspense a little longer. Okay? Now, if many of those called to Spiritism have gone astray, by what signs do we recognize those who are on the righteous path? Okay? Because we always hear that they have gone astray. So what are the signs, or what is it that we're looking for? How will we know? Okay? The answer is, listen, you will recognize them by the principles of true charity that they profess and practice, the number of afflicted that they console, their love for their neighbor, and selflessness and triumph of their principles, for God wills the triumph of His law. So, if you want to see a true spiritist, or you want to find the ones that have followed that correct road, that's a pretty big hat to wear, isn't it? Not all of us can do it so easily, okay? And what do they continue telling us? They continue telling us that the time is set for mankind. It's now. And remember, this was, in what years were we looking at these messages? The 1800s. Blessed are those who say, brothers and sisters, let us work together. This is so important. Together. Okay? One of us by himself can probably accomplish a good amount of work here in this planet of transition right now in the year 2011. But what can we accomplish if we do it together? See? Come to me, those who silence their jealousies and discords. It's going to be very hard for us to silence those jealousies, to not point a finger, to not judge. But those are the ones that are going to be called to be His workers. Now, who were those workers? Who were they? The workers who came at the first hour were Moses. Remember that he brought us the 10 commandments? The prophets, the apostles, the martyrs, the philosophers, and finally the spirits. It's us. We're the workers of the last hour because we arrived last. As the last to arrive, the spiritists profit from intellectual endeavors of their predecessors. What does this mean? Haven't the spirits that came before us, haven't they already laid the foundation? Haven't they done all the work? Don't we have a library full? Didn't Gilberto just tell us about 12 books? 13 that Juana did on mental health, psychology, whatever. That's just one issue. We have a library full. We can get on the internet and read them for free. You don't even have to purchase them. So, excuse me, they laid the foundation. They did the hard work. There was a time where you couldn't say the word spiritist. And now, still some of us will say, well, we're Christian spiritists or whatever. No, that's not what the spirits are telling them. Now, many of those spiritists that laid down that work way back, they were talking way back. This is Socrates, all these people. Many of them are alive today. And more than one of the disseminators of the Christian faith may be found among spiritists, now more enlightened and advanced. Now they're more, they come back and hopefully we're going to remember, right? What is it that we have? What is the advantage that we have over the others? Okay? We're going to be more enlightened. We're going to be more advanced. We're no longer going to be working on the foundation. Look, we're going to be on the top of the building. See? And their wages, therefore, will be proportioned to the merit of their work. Our wages are going to be proportioned to the merit of our work. Okay? Is the Spiritist doctrine the denarius? Is the denarius reincarnation, the opportunity that we have to come back again? That we're all on the same level? This is food for thought. Excuse me. This is food for thought, and hopefully, as we continue, we're going to come to that conclusion together as a group. Reincarnation, that wonderful belief. All the workers of the first and the last hours, with eyes open to profound justice of God, no longer complain, but simply worship. We're tired of waiting there all day long for somebody to come to hire us as a painter at Home Depot. Okay? We're tired of being the workers in the vineyard, waiting. Now we realize we have the tools. We want to work. We're in the process of regeneration. We're going to go forward and we're going to work. The time is now. The time is now. Okay? But what else? What else does reincarnation offer? All workers of the first and last hours. Did I just read that? Yes, sorry. It harmonizes everything. This is what reincarnation does. It harmonizes everything in the universe, and the solidarity reconnects all present beings to the present and future. This is what Henry Heine was telling us. He was the German poet that would do the satirical. Look what he's saying. Look what he's telling us. Okay? So this is the time that has come where we can now bring, how? Because Spiritism lets us have the past, the present, and the future. Lets us understand it. Lets us put it as one. If I'm having difficulties now, if I'm suffering now, whatever, something that I did in the past, maybe I don't understand, but it's the mentality of the eternity, of it's going to keep on, and it's going to get better. And I can do it. I can do it. We can do it. But if we do it as a group, I think we're going to do a lot better. Okay, so what is the mission? What's our mission? We're Spiritists. We're here in the year 2011 and the planet Earth that's going through the regeneration. What are we supposed to do? Okay? And what do they say? Bless the Lord, you who have put your faith in His sovereign justice. You, us, okay? Go forth and preach the new tenet of reincarnation. Go preach the divine word to the learned who will demand it, the small and simple who will accept it. We don't need to go knock on doors. We don't have to give little papers. We don't have to. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it in many, many ways. Okay? One of our greatest ways is in the family setting, the way that we conduct ourselves. Obviously, I have the gospel at home is a beautiful tool that we can do. But we have neighbors. We have co-workers, we have friends when we're driving. We always have an opportunity because it's our moral conduct. It's the way that we conduct ourselves. The people are watching us. Oh, he's Spiritist, he said. He's Spiritist. Did you see how he was driving? He's Spiritist. Did you see he was fine until I touched his pride and now he's no longer a Spiritist? Oh, he was a Spiritist, but he keeps asking me to pay him back those $5 that he just lent me 2 days ago. So we're being judged. We're being watched as Spiritists. And we carry that title. Maybe we don't all have the Bezerra Menezes shirt every day. But we know from our conduct that people are watching us and they're saying, why does he or she act that way? Why is he or she always happy? Why is she always willing to forgive? Why is he or she not criticizing? Why is she being kind? Why is he not feeling offensive over something that I told her or him? Because we're Spiritists. Because we're supposed to love. Right? Okay. So I thought that this was just such an important part of the gospel. And now we're workers of the Lord. Okay? Now, it's not that we're workers of the last hour. We're workers of the Lord. Okay? And he's saying, blessed are those who said, brothers and sisters, we're all brothers and sisters here. We're brothers and sisters outside. We're brothers and sisters in this entire planet because God is our Father. Okay? Let us work together. That's just so important. And combine our efforts so that the Master may find the work accomplished at his coming. We have the tools. We have the ability. We've been here before. We are the workers of the last hour, but we are the workers of the Lord. And we can do it. We can do it. Just like this. Just like those books. This Bezerra de Menezes home offers us all an opportunity to study, to learn, to get magnetic passes, to receive fluid therapy, to get spiritual assistance, to study and to work on if you're having your mediumship, if you want to develop it. We have ways to do charity. So we're the workers. We can do it. We can do it. It is for, what is it for? It is for those who do not recoil. Do you remember that little slinky toy that goes up and down in content? Its recoil is to go back. It goes like that. For those who do not recoil, for those who do not go back, okay? It is for those who do not recoil before their task that God will entrust the most difficult positions in the great work of regeneration. And those words will be fulfilled. The first will be the last, and the last will be the first in the kingdom of God. And here we're starting and ending with the same, the Spirit of Truth in Paris, 1862. If they were telling us way back then, 100 years ago or more, that we were the workers of the last hour, that we had been given this doctrine, that we were going to be the ones in charge, we came last, but the groundwork had been laid out or whatever, then what does that say? Oh, it's okay. I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll just go forward. Sorry, I don't know how to drive stick. I'm used to automatic. Okay. Here we go. This is us. Okay? The seeds have been sown by people who sweated, literally, so that we could come now. Okay? You reap what you sow. This is us. Can we work together? Can we love on each other? Can we disseminate this message and this doctrine? We can. We can. It's there and it's for free. And He's our Father and He's going to pay us all the same. And He gave us that ticket, that denarius, reincarnation. Okay? Thank you for your patience.